their best life. Okay, see? And that's not everybody, so you guys keep me working, okay? So the first thing is to know who you are. I just spoke about that, okay? Now what I mean by that, it's like, what are your core values? What makes you tick? What makes you happy? I know that there's a lot of parents, a lot of caregivers, a lot of entrepreneurs like myself, just life. You're busy, you're consumed. So taking the time to know who you are, to know what you like and don't like. The foundation of all relationships starts with you. So if you don't know who you are, if you don't know what you like, oftentimes we look to other people and to external sources. That's not the way to go, because that only makes you more confused. So I just always start with that. What makes you tick? And so that's one. Okay, you ready for number two?
Number two.
Okay, I just talked about caretakers, and I know a lot of them, and I have a lot of them as clients, mothers, parents, even in some cases, family members who care for other family members. When you have, sometimes we get filled up, we get consumed, and you don't know that you're burnt out until you're burnt out. Like, you might kind of say, okay, things are kind of mundane, or maybe, life is just not giving me that spark that I need. So my tip, I love acronyms, APP, assess, prioritize, and plan, okay? Now, it's not rocket science. I didn't make this up. I did come up with the three letters. So assessing, when you think about every hat that you wear, right? You write down, if I'm a parent, this is it. If this is my work, as a family member, write everything down, all of the things that you have to do. Prioritize, okay, what is the right now goal? What is the right now need? What needs to be done right now? Because sometimes when the cup gets filled, it just starts overflowing. You don't have room for anything else. So prioritizing those things. I like to color code. I say, hey, clients, let's do what's number 1, 2, 3, and then planning. Planning your work in your plan. So it's like handle all of those things in priority order. And even though it might feel kind of like mundane to write it out, you'll start noticing that burden lifting.
Yes.
So that's what I love to do. Number 3, you ready?
We're number 3.
Okay, because I can do this all day long.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to continue myself. Number 3, setting healthy boundaries. Okay? Setting healthy boundaries. But guess what? There's a lot of terms that we use, like self-love and healthy boundaries, but very rarely do people kind of get underneath that. And I honestly lead with self-boundaries, healthy boundaries. Your yeses are your yes. Your no's are no. People will treat you how you treat yourself. And so often, I'll just use New Year's resolutions as a goal. Sometimes clients will say, oh, I want to start working out. Or I want to, stay home more often. But then the minute that, life pulls or something pulls, then you dishonor yourself. The minute that you say, you don't keep your word. So if you have to keep your word to yourself, setting boundaries. The other thing is, relationship-wise, I have to throw this in there. Kind of instinctively if something is serving you or if something is kind of depleting you. And it could be anybody in your life. But the truth is, you know it. And we battle in our minds, we battle with guilt, we battle because who it might be, you feel bad. At the end of the day, you have got to set healthy boundaries. It is okay to say no. It is okay to say, hey, I'm gonna just stay in, or, you have to let people kind of walk their own journey. So I work a lot with that. So setting healthy boundaries.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you feel not guilty when you do? Because sometimes we don't set those boundaries, and then when you do, you're like, okay, how do you keep yourself from feeling guilty of setting those boundaries?
Well, you know what? I think it's just being mindful of knowing that everyone has their journey. And this literally applies even from parent to child. Everyone's journey is their own. So often we love people, we care for people, so we want to jump in, and at the end of the day, we don't want to hinder someone else's growth. We don't want to hinder the lessons that life, and I'm a believer, that God would put in someone's path. We don't see that we're rescuing them, saving them, and then depleting ourselves. Because there's a lot of lessons in the journey, even if it involves some bumps,
Yeah, hold the line. We're going to go to break, and you're going to give us a little bit more.
Okay.